What's up, everybody? Vox&Hops episode number 32 coming at you. I am on tour in Europe right now. Vox&Hops back on tour in Europe. This time around, I'm out with Ingested, Insight, and Glory Hole Guillotine. And I've been having a great fucking time so far. We're having lots of fun out here. The tour kicked off last Friday. We were at the Netherlands Death Fest. It was fucking awesome. I'm a bit disappointed in myself. I didn't get the interview that I wanted. I wanted to sit down with one of the dudes from Anal Nathrak, but I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm never quite sure how to pronounce that band name, but I was fucking exhausted and jet lagged, and I just never got around to sitting down. So in the future, I'd love to sit down with one of you boys and cross paths again and drink a beer and chat. Today on the podcast, I have Daniel Defonce. Daniel Defonce works for Continental Concerts, which is a booking agency in the United States. He also is one of the head people at Unique Leaders, which is a record label which our friends Ingested happen to be on, and they have a new EP coming out. You guys should check that out. And he also runs and organizes the Devastation on the Nation tour, which is how I met him. So check it out. Here it is, Vox&Hops episode number 32 with Daniel Defonce.
I warn you, what you are about to hear is very disturbing indeed.
What's up, everybody? Here I am live in Dallas at the Gas Monkey Bar and Grill, and I'm here with Daniel Defonce. Daniel Defonce, for those of you who do not know, is a booking agent for Continental Concerts USA, and he also works for Unique Leader, which is a record label based out of the States. I first met you when you booked Devastation on the Nation.
Yeah, 2017.
Yes. That's right. Speak right into that mic.
Yep.
So everyone can hear you.
Yeah,
everyone
2017.
Yeah, I'm really stoked about this year's lineup.
Yeah, it came out good, honestly.
Really fucking awesome, yeah.
It's selling well. LA just sold out.
I heard about that, yeah.
It's not for like 2 months.
Okay, so tell everyone what you're about, what you do. A big ballpark picture of who Daniel Defonce is.
I'm a booking agent for Continental Concerts USA. Book over 50 bands, ranging from Dark Funeral to Rivers of Nile to Abigail Williams, Ex-Hoarder, and a bunch of others. And then I do all the marketing for Unique Leader Records and also A&R as well.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that part of it.
Yeah, so got my hands full.
Yeah, it sounds like it. How did you get into this crazy world of booking?
I was just in bands. And I always booked our own tours and shows. So got to a point where friends' bands were like asking me to book their tours, and then I got tired of being in a band. It was like 13 years ago. So
what instrument did you play?
Guitar.
Okay.
Yeah, I play guitar. And then and then I just decided one day to quit the last band I was in and start my own booking agency in like 2006.
Fuck.
Yeah. I mean, I really had no idea what the fuck I was doing. I just like winged it the whole time. But you learn through it all. I'm still learning, you know.
You're the first booking agent I have on the podcast. I have I've had some promoters, Dave Boucher up in Montreal.
Oh yeah, I love Dave.
And JF Michaud, who works for Vancouver up in Montreal. So what are some of the complications of being a booking agent versus just a promoter?
Just having to work with so many. I mean, you do the same with being a promoter, but working with a lot of different personalities in bands. So you got to really get to know everyone and how they work. Same with every manager, other agents. You just have to really get to know each other. And I don't know, promoter wise, I was a promoter at one point, way in the beginning. I was being a booking agent and doing shows in New York at the same time. So I mean, I guess being on the promoter side of things, it's still risky at both ends, but I personally would never want to be a promoter again.
It's too much risk.
Yeah, but it's just not really my thing. I don't know. I worked for this venue in Fort Worth called Tomcats West for a couple years. So I did their marketing, but I would help them book shows too and get them tours to come.
Was that huge room that closed down? Sadly?
No, it was 400 cap room.
Okay,
it's
cool.
Still around.
Okay.
And I would do my own shows there once in a while too. I don't know, it just wasn't anything interesting to me. But anyway.
Do you remember your first tour that you booked that was a success?
Oh man, it was probably As Blood Runs Black.
Yeah?
Yeah. I did their first East Coast tour. It was them, For the Fallen Dreams, and Enwell, and then it was a lot what I book now is the type of music I book now is not what I was doing back then. Back then it was just a lot of bands Attila, Dr. Acula to fucking Asmodon's Black to Full of Fallen Dreams and that style of music, metalcore mostly, you know. So, but that was one of the first like bigger tour was like Asmodon's Black, which was cool.
And what about like early Disaster tours?
I don't even know. Every tour ever, yeah.
There is an expression out there.
Yeah,
that's been you've been defonced.
Yeah, there's that expression. I guess with the drives, sometimes I can put some shitty ass drives on these tours, but
it is hard to organize a
I
tour.
feel like it's harder now because there's less markets to book in. So like you don't have, dude. I did a tour once. I booked a tour. It was a Dr. Acula tour, and it was 3 months long.
Holy shit!
Just in the United States,
Holy
not Canada.
shit.
I didn't hit Canada at all.
That's
and
insane.
I did like 10 shows in Florida alone.
Great.
Literally.
We just got delivered a beautiful beer.
Thank you. Oh,
It's
great.
the Rahr and Sons Seasonal, based out of Fort Worth, Texas. Let's see what this sucker's got. Cheers,
Cheers,
Dave.
dude.
It doesn't smell like much.
It's pretty good.
Maybe it's because it's just so cold.
I dig it.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah, it's smooth.
Surprising. It's sweet.
It is.
It's sweet. It's malty.
I like it.
It's got some bite to it.
Yeah.
10 shows in Florida.
10 shows. I think I can name all the cities.
That's ridiculous.
It was like Pensacola, Ocala, Brandon, Tampa, Miami, Orlando, Jacksonville. There was a few more. But now you have less markets nowadays to hit. So like sometimes drives can suck. Because it's like, oh, they don't book shows there anymore. There's nothing in between this shit. Unless you want to play maybe a smaller town.
Or a door deal.
Yeah. Like, do you want to risk it and just do it? Yeah.
I'll go to
Personally,
I'll go to the hotel.
Yeah, exactly. I rather, it depends on the band. Some, younger bands will take the door deal to have a show. When you're old, older, been doing it for a long time, it's like, let's just have an off day.
Yeah.
And we'll just drive, or we'll
get
stop.
to the next one.
Yeah.
And be comfortable.
Get to the next one, get a hotel, and stop. Yeah. So that was.
Let's take a side note. Let's talk about beer.
Yeah.
This beer's really good. Definitely different than. I forgot to talk about its color. It's very dark, which surprises me when I ordered it.
Yeah.
I was expecting it to be a seasonal lager or something, but it seems to be
that's
a dark ale.
A seasonal.
Yeah.
I thought it would have like a name.
Are you a craft beer enthusiast?
Not as much as you are. No. I like beer, but I don't drink it as much anymore.
Okay.
Because I don't know. I've noticed after a few, my stomach just starts hurting.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why.
That could be celiac.
Yeah, I could, dude. Honestly, nowadays, I eat certain things, and it might fucking be.
You might be celiac.
So it sucks.
One of those people. The 12%.
One of those. Yeah. What else is this? It would happen to me though. That's the thing. So I don't drink beer as much as I used. I used to drink beer a lot, and then.
Do you remember your first beer?
It was honestly probably a Bud Light or something. When I was I don't fucking know, 15 or 16.
What about your first craft beer experience?
I don't know. Really. I don't know what my I don't remember what my first craft beer experience
when
was.
I asked you what we were going to drink right now, you said I don't want an IPA.
Yeah, I don't like IPAs.
So what is it about IPAs that you do not like?
The bitterness.
Okay.
It's I've had a couple IPAs. I can't remember the name. There was one I used to drink here and there at this bar that I used to live by. And it was 9%, and it was really good. And I had no clue it was an IPA until the guy was like, "Oh yeah, that IPA. You want that IPA?" I'm like, "Oh, it's an IPA."
Because there's different IPAs. There's fruity, sweet ones, and then there's the West Coast, which tend to be extremely hoppy and bitter.
Yeah.
And my palate has really developed over the past few years to enjoying the East Coast, Northeast Coast IPAs, the hazies, and I really like that shit.
Yeah.
If you do go and order a beer, what would be your style of beer that you'd go for?
Honestly, now it could be either a beer like this, or sometimes I just get a generic or Modelo.
Yeah.
I like Mexican beers a lot.
You are in Texas.
Well, yeah, but I'm from New York.
It's fucking hot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from New York, but I've been here for 6.5 years. So
yeah,
you kind of. But I don't mind a Modelo or something. Just something light is better for me.
especially in this weather.
Yeah.
So I was saying to you that the only beer that I had left over, which was given to my fans for the podcast, was this Imperial Stout at 11%, and it's like 5 o'clock.
You can't do that right now.
35 degrees Celsius outside. It's not a time for that beer.
No,
I will get to you, Jester King. I will get to you. Don't worry about Aaron, I will drink that beer. Don't worry. Being a booking agent and dealing with the whole Antifa movement, how do you work around that? Have you worked on tours that have been canceled?
So, Stefan, who's my boss, who works with you guys.
That's right. Shout out to Steph.
He's, Hey, Steph. He's, he's dealt with stuff with like Marduk, Rotting Christ. I'm pretty positive it was them too as well. That was definitely, I definitely witnessed Stefan deal with a lot of shit with all that. There was a lot of headaches. The only band I've dealt with that with has been this newer band that I picked up called Neckbeard Death Camp.
Okay, no, I've never.
So they're very much, they don't really claim to be like Antifa, but everyone labels them as that. They pretty much just started the band as a joke to like bash bands that are
provoke
like
people.
Yeah. And then it just caught on, and then you start getting all this press, like Vice, all this stuff, and then they just ran with it. They're really cool dudes. They're really nice, and a lot of people think they're like assholes or something. But
so
they're
they're going against
like
black metal, and they're like
the
on the metal side.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
How do you feel about all that?
About that?
About the Antifa?
I'm kind of like indifferent about it because they do have some good points, but also I think they sometimes take it a little bit too far. Like, bashing on venues that bring these type of bands that
Absolutely.
They claim to be, neo-Nazis or whatever.
They have some imagery.
Yeah, so I think they just take it a little bit too far, and they don't realize like what they're causing and what they're doing,
and how many people are being affected by it.
Yeah, a lot of people are being affected by it.
There's the from the promoter, the club, to the promoter,
to the agent,
to the band,
label, all of the above. It affects all of them, and I've seen some. I'm not going to say what bands or anything, but I've seen some bands that they've gone after that I'm like, and I've looked up, I researched, and I'm like, okay, are these guys like really Nazis or whatever?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that it?
Or is it just imagery? Or is it just,
or some lyrics that maybe could make someone believe that?
They could just be like portraying a role. Like, I'm not a serial killer.
No.
And I write about doing horrible things, but that's just a part of the gimmick, a part of the game.
That's just what it is.
Yeah.
And it's like, so with Neckbeard Death Camp, though, there's been like a few shows where the venues gotten like calls and emails from people like, don't book them, this and that, we're not coming to your venue, this, and it's from people that are like very, hardcore black metal.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but it's like they're not bad people. They're just against black metal bands that
are Nazis, basically.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's straight to the point. And they just like stirring the pot.
Yeah.
If you go on their Twitter and stuff, they like stirring the pot.
If it gets you attention, I don't have the patience and I don't either. The energy to put into doing stuff like that. It's just not in my personality.
No,
I'd rather
same.
talk about beer and chillax.
Yeah, exactly.
And, when fans come say hi to me afterwards, I just want to talk with them and be friends with everyone. But that could just be my Canadian side.
Yeah.
Let's switch gears, talk about Devastation on the Nation.
Yeah,
That's your festival.
Yes.
You created it. What brought you to want to create a traveling extreme metal festival?
Honestly, Summer Slaughter.
Yeah, of course.
Because it's been around for so long, and I've gone to the earlier ones. I've seen Necrophagist. The whole that was my first time ever seeing Necrophagist. Was on Summer Slaughter, so I pretty much have gone to every one of them. So anyway, a few years, 5 years ago, I booked a tour for this band King Conquer, and we were just me and Chris, the drummer, were just trying to come up with a name for the tour, And he was like, I think I was like, yeah, let's call it like Devastation, I don't know, like of the nation. And he's like, no, Devastation on the Nation. I was like, oh yeah, that's a good one.
The amount of times
Yeah.
I'm filling out all the bands and towns junk, and I write Devastation in the Nation.
Or in the Nation, yeah.
And I had to go back and correct it. Yeah.
So that's where it started, but that wasn't like a festival tour. It was just a regular ass tour, And then a couple years went by, and just was like, I want to create a brand like Summer Slaughter or something similar, like just another death metal tour like that, but not do as many bands as Summer Slaughter does.
Because it's tiresome.
It is.
I've toured it. It's tiresome.
Yeah, and I've gone to like all of them, so it's like from being there from the first band to the end, you're like, whoa, this is a long day. And then you get older and you're like, I can't do this.
I'm gonna take a nap.
Yeah. So it's always been, the last year were 6 bands. Well, the year Aborted was on it last year was 7 bands.
I saw that in Montreal. It was a great lineup.
Yeah, I love the lineup. It came together great. But going back to this year, I was like, let's just do 6 bands. So Bryce, Lucian, who's
shout out to Bryce.
Yes.
Yeah, love you, brother. I wish you were here.
Yeah,
You're
he's
out
in
on
Europe
tour
right now.
You're out on tour.
Yeah. So we were like, let's just do 6 bands and kind of change it up this year. So we went more black metal.
In my opinion, you won last year. If it was a competition between Summer Slaughter and Devastation, Devastation definitely won last year.
Yeah.
How confident are you about this year's lineup?
Oh, very, very.
It's different. It
is different. And like last year, we had Dark Funeral over here with Septic Flesh, and that tour blew us away. Me and Stefan were just like, wow. It was like 12 sold out shows.
Nice, yeah.
So this year's line, it was like, it went through like a few ideas, and Dark Funeral was supposed to come here in February with someone else.
I remember.
Yeah. Should I say it? It keeps getting pushed back. Like it might happen at the end of the year. You'll know if it ever happens. So we were like, oh, they could do that, then come back and do this or something. Because that tour was only going to be like 10 shows.
Yeah.
It was short. And then that tour got canned. So we were like, well, we could just have them on the headliner. And then, Michael from Dark Funeral was like, can we see, get Belphegor?
Oh, awesome.
Because they've been wanting the tour together.
It's huge. It's going to be really good.
Yeah. So it just worked out.
Hate, too, if I'm right. Yeah.
They haven't been here in like 8 years.
I know. They were supposed to be on that run with Belphegor and Cryptopsy at the end of 2017, I want to say, and their visas fell through with the last...
I made sure they got that done. Because when that happened, I'm like, listen, guys, like I'm down to put you on this, but we cannot have anything happen,
That's another question I want to ask you is, how do you deal with booking European bands now with all the visa issues that are going on? Such as Surreption, that can never get in for some reason.
Yeah.
Nicest dude. Michael, it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen, Mike.
Yeah, I think they're set now. I think they're good now.
Oh, good.
That's what Stefan told me. It's honestly very weird, the visa crap.
Is it like a gamble at this point, putting a European band on a bill?
Because I'm not going to say what band is having trouble with it right now, because I don't want people to freak out that they may or may not
come to
do this
States
tour in like 3 weeks.
Oh, shit.
They're a band that has like 5 albums out, 6 out. They're on Unique Leader for a few albums. They've been here before multiple times. I mean, they've toured all of Europe, everywhere. Done all the big festivals. Like, they have massive amounts of press, and they're dealing a hard time right now. They want so when a band submits their petition for their visa, that goes to an officer, and then they review it. So it's a random person reviewing, all these different petitions. So anyway, they wanted more evidence, and we're like, we gave you everything, like tons of letter of recommendations, all this shit, and they're still getting, tossed around. So there's a band that's been around forever, getting the shit handed to the stick, and then I have this band that's been around for 1 year, and they got approved for their visas in like 4 weeks.
Oh shit!
This band, Brand of Sacrifice.
It's just like a random. You don't even know nowadays.
Yeah.
What would be the implications for you if a band doesn't get their visa?
I mean, trying to find a replacement.
Okay, a local replacement.
Yeah. Or not.
It's the stateside replacement.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You would have. Yeah. it would have to be a band from here.
Yeah.
It's just a headache. The whole visa stuff is the biggest pile of shit, in my opinion. It really is, though. It's just not fair.
It's just too random. At least if it was like a structure and we knew why it was happening. And
Yeah.
for the fans, too, it fucking sucks. You get all stoked to see this show, and then...
Yeah, and I'd ask, like, the lawyer that's involved with getting the band's visa, like, can you, like, call someone up, talk to this officer, and explain to him who the band is better? Or, like, can I? Or can they?
And they don't.
And they're like, we don't know who it is.
It could be anyone. Yeah.
It's just anybody, so...
As you can all hear in the background, Hideous Divinity is sound checking, but that's okay. We're just going to keep going.
Yeah, let's go.
It's the Blast Beat Party. Vox and Hops on tour. Switch gears to the label.
Yeah.
When did you start working with Unique Leader, and how did that come about?
It was definitely over like a year and a half ago. I just been working with Eric for years, just with his bands, with Unique Leader bands, having him on tours, all this shit, and we just became friends. And then I noticed, like, one day we were on the phone, I'm like, do you have a staff, or is it just you? And he's like, it's just me.
Really?
And one other guy, this guy Frank, who did like the art, like the graphics, you know. And I'm like, wow, how do you handle like
a lot of bands?
Yeah, you have a lot going on, dude. Like, and then one day, me and Bryce, because Bryce works for the label, he does the PR, publicity, and we're like, we should go to Eric and see if he wants to like hire us. You do the marketing, and we'll both do A&R, find bands, you know, all that stuff, and Bryce will do the publicity and see what we can do. And Eric was like really into it, so then we started, and it grew a lot more. You could tell the difference from then to now.
What bands would be bands that you signed?
Ingested was a good one. Who else have we
My
signed?
boys. Shout out to the boys, Jason, and the rest of the boys.
Yes.
Ingested. Yeah.
They'll have a new record out
We will
this
see
summer.
you soon. I know I've heard some of it.
Yeah, of course.
Sneak peeks from Mr. Donaldson.
Yeah. We have another one coming up that's really awesome. They were on Devastation last year. Can't say who.
Okay.
Just take a guess.
I have a guess in my mind already.
They're another bigger one, which is great. Trying to think who else.
What are some of the hardest parts of being a record executive? Did you ever think you could say, I'm a record executive?
Yeah, right. I don't know. Just making sure everything gets done on time, so you don't like
stuff that's out of your control.
Yeah. So like, you know, you get a release date for a band, and then you start pushing it, and then the last thing you want something to get delayed, and you have to change release dates.
Yeah.
I used to work for this label like back in like from 2009, 2012. I'm not going to say who it was. It's not even a label anymore, but it was always one thing where it was just like changing release dates all the time, and I would just be like,
is it Tool?
It's close. I mean, it was like the same thing. Necrophagist, you know. So it was just always like, oh, we got a new release date, he's gonna get everything in. Now it's like we make sure we have everything in, artwork, the mastered CD, you know, record, and then we get the release date.
It's good that you're pushing Ingested, because they got something special. They
do.
I interviewed Lynn. They've all quit their jobs.
They did.
They're doing the band full time. They're touring like animals.
Madmen. Yeah.
And they put out an album last year, which was on the Billboard charts.
Yeah. Yeah, it did great, honestly.
And now they're going to come out with something the year after. That's amazing.
Yeah, they'll have an EP out this summer sometime. So that'd be great. And
that's awesome.
Then they're coming back in September.
Are they? Awesome.
Yeah.
We're going to be out with them in May.
Oh, yeah, that's
Europe,
right.
yeah,
They're with
yeah.
you in May.
Yeah.
We'll have fun there.
We'll have fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great when they like came to Bryce, because Bryce manages them.
Yeah.
So they came to us one day. It was like, hey, you're going to be really happy about this. And we're like, what? We're going to tour full time. Or we want to tour full time. And I'm like, thank you.
Finally, a band
Finally.
gets it.
They're like, well, you know, we got to like give it a shot now, you know?
Yeah.
We're in our early 30s. So it's like, can it take off now? And
you know the special thing is about that band? I think they're one of the only bands, this is the case, that they're all the original members still.
All of them.
It's fucking mind-blowing.
I know.
They're
That's
a death
one
metal
thing.
slam band,
Yeah.
you know?
That's what blew my mind when I picked them up, like in 2014 or 15. I was like, you're all original? And it was like, what, 8 years at that point or something? So now it's like 12 years and still somehow. they're all really funny guys.
Yeah, they're intense. I'll tell you that.
And whenever
that first night when they climbed on the bus in London, on the Hell Over Europe there.
Oh man,
we were all tired and they were not.
No, they can just go, and they can drink a lot of beer, a lot.
Sadly, you got involved with Unique Leader right before Eric passed.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. That shit sucks. What
Miss you,
happened to
Eric.
him?
Yeah.
How long did it take to get the label back in order?
It was.
And was there ever an idea of just not having the label continue?
It was gonna continue. Like there was like, so Jamie Graham came into the label like 7 months before Eric passed, and so he got the hang of everything, you know. And then when Eric got diagnosed, we started preparing. There was a point where everything was looking like he was going to be okay. He was going to get the liver transplant. But his health just went to shit so fast it wasn't possible. But anyway, so Jamie took it over. You know, before Eric passed, he was like, Jamie's taking it over. You guys stay on. You'll get
continue
through this.
the stream.
Yeah, continue it. You'll get through it. Just do it. And it was all right, you know, just go. So luckily, we didn't have any releases in January. So we were able to take January and get, you know, talk to each other a lot and just get everyone's role in order on who's doing what and how we're going to keep everything organized. And now, you know, there was some times where like me and Jamie butt heads, but it happens. So
as long as you're adults about it.
Yeah, oh yeah. But now we're fine. Everything's good now. Everything's just in order. We have like our ways of doing everything. Everything's structured, well organized. So it's going great, honestly. We're like set with releases until like mid 2020.
Really? Oh,
it's
congrats.
insane.
That's great.
I didn't even realize it until Jamie got it all, you know, hammered out and showed us, and I was like, wow.
I feel like Unique is at a place where it can like compete with some of the bigger labels.
Yeah, there's a lot. You know, I think there's a lot of potential for the label to like get up there with like the Metal Blade and
the Seasons
Blast.
of Mist. It's almost on par with Seasons now
think
in my
so
mind.
Too. Yeah. So I think with some of the like the next signing that we have, I think that one's gonna like a lot of people are gonna freak out over it.
Oh,
it's
awesome.
a good one.
Good.
So
congrats. You'll tell me off.
I will.
Off podcast.
Yeah.
Funniest Defonce story. Do you want to share it? You can say no. I'll edit this out if you say no.
What, me?
Yeah.
Funniest Defonce story?
About Toronto.
Oh, about Toronto. God. Yeah. So.
Good boy. Tell the people what happened.
Hold on. So I had a tour. I had a tour manage the first week and a half of Devastation because Bryce was on tour with his band Seeker in Canada with Psychroptic. So the band was like, all right, I'll go tour manage the first week and a half. You jump on in Texas, and Bryce will take it over. And I haven't toured in years, and so it's kind of weird getting put in that situation. But anyway, so let's get to Toronto. So I've never, as crazy as this sounds, I've never been to Canada until that tour. So go to Toronto, and the show's great. Everything's going great. And then this guy Travis shows up, and I believe Travis, he's one of the owners of Hard Luck.
I believe
you know
you're
what I'm
right.
talking about?
I believe you're right.
We've never met before, but we've known each other for so long. So I had no idea he was coming to the show either. So he shows up, and I'm drinking like slow that night. I'm like, I'm not trying to get hammered. It was just...
I was on that tour, and I hadn't seen you drunk yet.
Yeah. So he shows up. He's like, hey, you want a drink? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And he's like, you want a shot? And I'm like, sure, I'll take like one or two. Like, I'll be straight. I don't know how many shots it turned into. I don't know how many drinks it turned into. All I really remember is kind of loading out like the
those horrible
Devastation
stairs.
merch. Yeah, and like I skinned my knuckles against the wall, so it looked like I like got in a fight, but I didn't. I just was walking down the stairs with merch, and then I told someone. They told me the next day. I forget who it was, but I guess I told them like, hey, go get that merch, bring it outside, and it was all the Devastation merch. So anyway, the next morning I wake up, and I'm probably the top 5 hangover of my life. And I go to the front of the bus, and I'm sitting there, and I don't think anyone really was awake yet. And I'm like, just, you know, feeling like I just died and came back to life. And I'm like, okay, so where's all my stuff? Like, I didn't have my phone. I didn't have my wallet. I went in my, I didn't even go in my bunk yet. And so then the first thing I did was I go in my bunk because I slept in the back lounge that night. I would go in my bunk and I see my phone's plugged in. I'm like, oh, I was a smart drunk. There's one, right? So I'm like, cool, my phone's fully charged. Thank you. Keep in mind, I didn't even wake up at the border crossing. So let's start, So I didn't even wake up at the border crossing. Didn't the officer come on the bus, right? He had to come on the bus.
You couldn't get up.
Yeah.
So they came up on the bus and...
Didn't Chad
they went
give
in
him
the back,
my passport?
Because you had left your backpack upstairs.
Yes.
At the bar.
Oh. I don't think I remember. Yeah.
Which had
Chad brought it, right?
Yeah, he found your backpack. Which had your passport in it. He took care of it, showed the officer. He went in the back. He was super chill.
Yeah, I heard he was really chill.
Flashed you in the face, chuckled, and came back.
That was it,
That
right?
was it, yeah.
So that happened. So anyway, I go in my bunk, get my phone. I'm like, cool, I got my phone. I go in the back lounge. I don't see my backpack. And it's not in my bunk, and it's not in the front lounge. So I'm like, shit. So Chad gets up.
That's right. Chad Toper, big shout out.
Yes.
We love you, brother.
Love you, Chad. He gets up, comes to the front lounge, and, he's smirk on his face, giggling.
I get his picture of his face right now.
And I'm like, yo, what's up? He's like, how you feeling? I'm like I died? I'm like, I can't find my backpack. And he's like, yeah, I know where it is. Or he said something like that. I'm like, where is it? He's like, it's in the shower. I just put it in there. I'm like, oh, thank you. So I go in there, get my backpack. But I still can't find the money.
Oh.
Did you know about that?
No. That I didn't know. Where did you hide it?
So hold on. This is me being smart and drunk.
Okay.
So I'll get to that one sec. So I go back to the front lounge. Flo gets up. So, comes to the front. He's like, how you feeling? I'm like, oh, like crap. I'm sorry. I didn't expect that to happen at all. And told him about Travis showing up. All this. So yeah, I'm like, did I paid you last night, right? He's like, no. I'm like, oh. All right, I'll be right back. So I go to the back lounge and I go to my luggage. And I'm just sitting there and I'm just looking. I'm like, where is this money? Like, where is it? There's no way I did this. Like, and I'm just like preparing for the worst, like going to my bank and pulling out
whatever it was.
Yeah, whatever. Because it was Cryptopsy's money, guaranteed, plus the Devastation merch money. It was two different wads. So I just decided to open up the side of my luggage, the pocket on the side. There's just 2 wads of cash, and I'm like,
well, at least you're a smart drunk.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. I was smart drunk.
Because when you got on the bus, you were chatty.
Was I really?
Oh yeah, it was the most chatty. It was the most chatty you'd been up until that point on the tour, honestly.
Yeah. So I go to the front lounge. Flo's still there. I'm like, found the money. He's like, and he just smiled and kind of laughed. He's like, you are so lucky.
Yeah. Fuck.
I'm like, yeah, no shit.
Thank you so much for sharing that story.
Yeah,
I appreciate
that. Was the worst.
Let's give everyone a shout out. Devastation on the Nation. The full lineup is
The Dark Funeral, Belphegor, Incantation, Hate, Veil of Nath, and Nightmare.
It's fucking awesome lineup.
Thank you.
Where can people get tickets?
You can go to my website, which is just metalfestivaltours.com, and just click tickets in the top right corner.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Go out and check out this tour. Do not miss it. Everyone should go to this tour. Devastation on the Nation. Daniel Defonce. His little baby that he's raised into maturity with a sick-ass lineup right now.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sitting down, chatting with me, Vox and Hops.
Yes.
I appreciate
Anytime.
it. You're a good guy. It's always nice to see you again.
You too, man.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
Hey, thank you all so much for listening right to the end. Great talking with Daniel. I didn't know what to expect when I sat down with him. Sometimes some people played their cards close to their chest, but Daniel was just fucking awesome. And I'm so happy that he told that fucking story at the end about him getting wasted in Toronto. Great chat, great dude. You should get your tickets for Devastation on the Nation. I will put the link in the description. You should also get your tickets for the remaining Cryptopsy, Ingested, Demonical, Night Rage, Glory Hole Guillotine dates, which are coming up in the next week. We're going to be hitting the Czech Republic. We're going to be hitting some more German dates, and we're up in Scandinavia for the first time. So get your tickets if you do not have them already, because it's going to be a blast of a time. Thank you all for listening. I really appreciate all the love I'm getting, all the positive messages I'm receiving. There is no podcast without you guys. So keep spreading the word. If you like good beer, if you like funny tour anecdotes, check it all out, subscribe, and share this with your friends who you think would like it as well. Next week on the podcast, I have my conversation with the guitarist and singer of Abysmal Dawn, Mr. Charles Elliott. So check it all out. It's going to be on Vox and Hops, episode number 33, next week. Cheers. Have a great week. Hang out with your friends, hang out with your loved ones, and most importantly, drink great craft beer. Cheers, Vox and Hops heads. See you next week.